Daily Adventures Overlanding. Sorry I didn't get a video up sooner before we left for our Midwest trip, but now that we're back home, we're getting back settled in, figured I'd do a quick video for you guys. I chose to do the cinnamon apple pork chops for you guys tonight because the first time that I did them and we posted up just a little short video on Instagram, a lot of people liked it, commented on it, so I figured I'd do this one for you guys tonight. There's a lot of downtime in it just from cooking the pork chops and the apples, so if you see some skipping throughout, it's just because the pork chops are cooking. I'll go ahead and I'm going to get my scuttle warmed up so I can melt some butter. I have it over like medium heat right now. I'm going to start with about 4 tablespoons of butter and melt that. And of course this recipe is already in the Essential Scuttle Cookbook that you can find on Jerry's website, Timbo Tusk. And it is free to download. And I'm sure that I am probably not doing this exactly the way that I wrote the recipe, but that's alright. You guys will get the idea of what we're doing here. I'm going to start with melting about 4 tablespoons of butter. I don't really use any oil in this recipe, just stick with butter. First thing that we're going to do is we're going to cook the pork chops. I already pre-seasoned them with salt and pepper. And we got the thick pork chops. They're not as thick as they were the first time that I did this recipe, but they'll work. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and add my pork chops. What we're going to do with the pork chops is we want to have a nice golden brown on both sides. And also until the pink is almost gone. Because really once we get going and they're cooked, about the only thing that we're going to do once we get the apples cooked is we're going to reincorporate it, but we're not going to cook it too long together. So we're going to leave that over medium heat. And we're going to let them brown. If you have a Timbo Tusk Scuttle lid, use it, or tint them somehow with some kind of lid, something like that. It'll help cook them faster. So depending on how thick your pork chops are will depend on how fast this is going to cook and how often you're going to have to flip them. If they start to burn or brown too fast, just lower your temperature. You're starting to get a nice brown to them, so I'm going to go ahead and flip them real quick. Let them cook more on that side. I turned my scuttle down just a little bit. It was getting real hot. Alright, so just every 5 minutes or so, check on them. See how they're browning. We're going to let that cook a little longer. Alright, let's see how they're doing. Starting to get a nice color to them. that little one a little more brown. I'm going to cover them for just a couple more minutes. I am going to turn my scuttle down just a little bit. Right now we're probably about low to medium heat on it. Just give them a couple more minutes and then we'll start cooking the apples. Alright, let's see how we are. Alright, I am liking the color on those. I'm going to go ahead and turn the scuttle off here for a minute. What you want to do is just move your pork chops up the sides here. Keep those warm while we make up the apples. Alright. For the apples, we're not going to clean the scuttle. We're going to leave all that right there. But what we are going to do is we're going to add in a little bit more butter. Probably like 2 to 3 tablespoons. If I need to add more butter, I'll add more butter later. Melt some of the butter. And I think in the recipe book it tells you to go ahead and turn this back on medium heat, but since it's so hot already, I'm going to go ahead and just turn it on low right now while we get that incorporated. So I went on ahead and I pre-sliced my 2 apples, and I think that I said that I went on ahead and peeled them. I left the skins on this time, something a little different. So we have our 2 apples that are thinly sliced. Our onion, and this is about a half of a medium onion. If you don't have a small one, I just use a medium. Alright. And then I went on ahead and I mixed up the cinnamon, nutmeg, and the brown and white sugar together already. Just gonna put that on there. Mix it all up. Now at this point you want to watch it because this is going to start to make a syrup. You don't want to burn it to your scuttle, so you're going to make sure that your scuttle's not too hot, but since I have it on low, if it starts cooling down I may have to add it. This is basically going to become like a apple pie filling. That's what it really comes down to. You just want to cook these just for a few minutes until the apples start to get a little soft. And then we're going to mix the pork chops back into it after I put in a few more ingredients here. So I'm going to go ahead and just leave those as is. I'm going to cover them for just a few minutes and then I'm going to come back and check on them because I don't want that syrup to burn. And I'm going to leave my scuttle on low for this too. Alright. Well, we're doing good with not burning the juice. I don't want to cook the apples too long. They're still a little crisp. Some of them are softening up. I don't want to cook them too long because I'm going to cook them longer with the pork chops and I don't want them to end up being too smushy. I still want a little bit of bite to them. Alright, so now that we have that done, I'm going to go ahead and go with what we have here because the majority of them feel soft. There's a couple of them that are still a little hard, but not too hard. Alright, so what we want to do next is add in a little bit of the dried cranberries. This will help take some of the sweetness out of the sauce. I think in the recipe it told you to do like 2 to 3 tablespoons. I just dumped some on. Alright, and then we have some apple juice. I'm not going to put too much apple juice on here because we still have a lot of the sauce left in that. I'm going to just quickly mix this together. Alright, and then we're going to take our pork chops again. We're literally just going to nestle them right down in there. What I like to do is kind of flip them so they get sauce. Coat it in sauce a little bit first, and then move it off to the side so it can start cooking. You can see as I'm doing this that the sauce is starting to thicken. If it gets too thick where it's going to start burning to the scuttle, just add a little bit more apple juice or water. You don't have to use apple juice. Alright, so see we have that there. I'm going to add a little bit more apple juice, maybe a little more butter as well. Do a little bit more butter here. So, all I'm literally going to do is just kind of pile all this together. I still have my scuttle on low heat. It's boiling my sauce. That's really all I want it to do. I don't want it to start burning or anything like that. Alright, so we have our pork chops kind of buried in there. We're going to cover it, and really all you're going to do is you're going to check on this every maybe 5 minutes or so, just so your sauce does not burn to your scuttle. Flip your pork chops and really cook them until the pork chops are done, and the apples will turn soft in this whole process as well. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and just cover this up and let it keep cooking. And we'll check on it here in a few minutes, see how the pork chops are doing, give it a stir the pork chops up, and we'll go from there. Alright, now that it's been a few minutes, let's check and see how we're doing here. I can tell you it smells wonderful. Go ahead and get some of the cranberries off so I don't burn my cranberries. We'll go over our pork chops. And I am terrible at telling when pork chops are done, so I always do the good old-fashioned cut it open and look. I would say we just have a few more minutes and we'll be done. So if you start to see your sauce running low or you're burning, just add more apple juice or water, whatever liquid it is that you're using. And by all means add, some more butter if you need to, if it's really starting to stick. So I'm just going to pile all that back up. We're going to cover it up for a few more minutes and check back on it. Okay. And I still have my scuttle on low. I have not changed this to medium yet. And I probably won't if they keep cooking this way. And actually I could probably turn it down a little bit if my burner would let me. No, it's pretty as low as it can go. It almost turned off on me. So we're going to leave it there. See how it turns. So a few more minutes and we should be good to go. Alright, let's do another check on them. The flame went down on me. So we You might have to go a little longer. I'm going to do just a few more minutes so these two little ones here can get a nice brown color on the other side like the rest of them have. My sauce is still looking good. It doesn't smell burnt. It's thickening up. Apples feel done. So we're going to go ahead and cover it up here for a few more minutes and it should be good to go. Alright, so this should be it. We'll make sure to clear all that stuff away. Yep, nice brown. See, stick my fork right in my apples. They're just a little crisp, but I like that. If you want your apples to have no crispness to them, if that's a word. If not, I just made it up. Cook them a little longer before you re-add the pork chops. Otherwise, if you like just a little bit of snap to them when you eat them with this, just cook them a few minutes. Alright, my pork chops should be done. Oh yeah. I'm going to go mix them all together one more time. And that's all you're going to have. They're all done. They're ready to go. And literally when you go to clean the scuttle and you take all this off, it literally, as you can see, I'm just pushing it off. It doesn't burn to it or anything. So you just put some water on it, wipe it off, put a little oil on it, and then store it. And that's all you need to do. Alright. There was one that had a little bit of pinkness to it. I'm going to go a few more minutes and we'll be good. Alright, now that it's been a few minutes, make sure that one is completely done. But essentially that's all you're going to have. You're going to have all this juice on the outside. And I serve it, when I serve it on a plate, take the pork chop off, obviously, and then I put some of the cinnamon and everything. And I do take some of this sauce that's left and I drizzle on your plate as well. So that is how you make the cinnamon apple pork chops. I know it's one of our favorites here at home or even out at camp. So hopefully you guys enjoy it as much as we do. If you have any questions or comments, please feel free to leave a comment below or send us a direct message through Instagram. If there's a recipe in the Timbo Test Scuttle recipe book that you want me to try, send us a message, leave a comment below, and I will see what I can do about getting a video up for everybody. Hopefully you guys find these useful, and I'm going to turn it off here. Hopefully you guys find these useful and helpful. I know sometimes it's nice to be able to see something being made as well as just reading it and following the directions. So please let me know what you guys think. If you want me to do something else, try something, please let me know that as well. Anyway, we're going to go ahead and get these inside and have some dinner, and hopefully we see some good recipes from you guys as well. Have a good night, everybody.